Welcome to Boys, episode 200. I'm Robbie Ray.
And I'm Joshua Jack.
And we are here, ever so triumphantly, to bring you our 200th episode. I'll tell you what, man, it seems like only 4 years ago we started this.
Dude, okay, when you put it in years, that's 4 years. I've had relationships that were not as long, you know what I mean? Like 4 years, it's a long time. We've been going steady for a while.
We have, we've been friends since we were 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
And we're both eclipsing the top of the hill, about to go right over down into death. And to know that we've been friends for a long time and been doing this show for 1/5 of our friendship, if you think about it.
That's crazy.
Something like that. I'm bad at math, but
I'm terrible.
Yeah, we're
at math.
here. We got a very special show for you today, but I wanted to start the show out with something new.
Oh yeah?
Kind of maybe a new lease on life, maybe a new approach.
Okay, a new take.
And it goes like this. Yes, it goes just like this. Hello, my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, we might get a cease and desist from the Mike Myers estate, but...
Is it because I kind of look like him?
You used to.
I used to, yeah.
Well, when he was younger and when you were younger, especially the Wayne's World Mike Myers, very
Right.
Robbie Ray. I think it's just in the eyes, nose area.
Well, hey, when we dressed up as Wayne and Garth, I thought the kids still had it, man.
Oh,
They did
yeah.
pretty good.
Pretty spot on.
That, for some reason, the little theme song for Simon, which was an SNL skit from the 90s, starring Mike Myers. He was a little British boy in a bathtub.
Yeah, he was the drawing boy.
British, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
British.
he did drawings. And I watched the skit today, and I ended up sending it to you before the recording here. And I'm watching it. Starts out with the little, toy piano intro song.
Yeah.
And it's, well, hello, my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings.
I like to draw. Yeah.
I never remembered the second half of the intro song. It totally, when he rolled into that half of the intro song for the skit, I was like, is this real? Did they add this? Because I just
Mandela
remember
effect.
the first part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched the skit, and dude, I'm not trying to be jaded or too good or whatever, but it was just really, really cringy. Dare I say, douchey.
Well, okay, was it because it was a naked man in a giant tub?
Playing
Or-
a boy,
A man boy.
talking about his bits and pieces and his cheeky bum. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it when I was young, and I thought it was hilarious. And
Oh, yeah, I loved Simon.
how old would you say we were when that came out?
It was probably the 1994 era of SNL, so we were probably 12.
12, 13, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Well, I watched it today. Like I said, I sent it to you. I had the little theme song stuck in my head. I watched it, and, I did kind of crack a smile for nostalgia's sake. But at
Right.
the same time, I was like, dude, was it just simpler times back then, or did I have a simpler mind?
Well, you
Because-
definitely had a simpler mind. You had the mind of a child.
That's true.
The world was brighter. The world is brighter in the mind of a child. That is 100% true.
That's a
But,
beautiful
yeah.
saying. Is that an actual saying?
It is now.
I know, dude. It sounds like something in a fucking Hallmark card.
Well, it is. I've been thinking about this. My wife and I go on nightly walks, and we've talked about that. Do we have nostalgia for the 90s because we were younger then? Or is it because things just seemed simpler then? I mean, things were always shitty. There's always war, there's always racism, there's always all this shit, but it wasn't bombarded in your face as much as it is now. So it seemed like a simpler time.
Yeah, man, I don't want to get all Alex Jones on this triumphant 200th episode, but I agree, number one, that, all that stuff has always existed. Life has always sucked for a certain amount of people.
Sure.
But I'm going to say this with the utmost belief in myself and what I'm about to say. I don't think it matters what side of the political spectrum you're on or the religious spectrum or anything like that. I think we could all come together and agree that the media, the mass media, the mainstream media, is the enemy. Dude, I can't stand it. I can't stand ultra-liberal news organizations. I can't stand ultra-conservative news organizations. And I think it all kind of came to fruition for me during these COVID times.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, the problem with the mass media is you got the liberal side with the MSNBC, and then you got the Fox News, and they're all in the pockets of big business elites who care nothing about society and the little guy.
Spot on, Jesse. Spot on, Mr. Ventura. It's crazy. Like, when it comes to the COVID stuff, it's like I keep seeing all these mixed messages. Something that was news one day or fact one day is not fact the next day. Like, how many times can we go back and forth between the COVID-19 virus can be transmitted in the air or it can't, or it lives on a surface or it can't,
or it can't.
If you get it, you're going to die, or if you get it, it's a cold. It's like, dude, why is the truth so hard to find and to promote, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on or whatever?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it was like, well, it can only kill old people, so you're fine if you're under the age of like 65. And it's like, well, hold on now. It's killing
and
kids.
Now, last thing I heard, it's like, oh, the 20 to 40 demographic is getting hit hardest with it. And, you know, and then you get people blaming it on both sides. Like, there's people that say the resurgence was because of one Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then there's people saying it's because of all the protesting and things, which, let's be honest, either of those things will spread COVID. You're around people. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
When you're putting thousands of people together in an area, it's a petri dish. You have that, and then you have early reopenings of all these businesses. That's a problem. That's something that's happening. I think. I don't trust the media is the problem.
I think it sucks, dude. I worked in the news industry for almost 12 years. I worked at 3 different newspapers. I was never a news boy, but I worked in the graphic design department. But we were hand in hand with the news side. We all came together to make a thing to line your dog crates with, you know?
Yeah.
But, dude, it's all bullshit, man. And it's like, I yearn for the truth, because the truth will set you free, Josh.
Amen, brother.
Now, listen, I wanted to get the show started out on a terrible note, but we're going to get right to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
But first, some advertisements. BoysPodcast.com. It's a hub of all things boys. There you will find links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the episodes, the archives. Go check it out. If you feel inclined, if you've been listening for 200 episodes or you've been listening for 2 episodes, smash that golden donate button, send us a few bucks. It would be awesome.
Donate $1 for every episode you've listened to.
I love it. I was going to say $10 for every episode, but I know, everybody already spent their stimulus check. Send us a buck or two. It would be awesome. BoysPodcast.com.
Boys, it's available on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube. Leave a review on iTunes. Subscribe everywhere you can subscribe, because it lets you know what we are doing, and it lets us know that you love us. So subscribe.
Email us, boys@boyspodcast.com. Send us some feedback. Put your physical address in the bottom of the email, and we'll send you out some free stickers. Listen, I just got a roll of stickers. They are beautiful. They are colorful. And let me tell you, they're downright sticky. I want to get them out to you. So email us show topics, guest ideas, criticisms, comments, concerns, whatever it is. Email us, boys@boyspodcast.com. We might even read it on the show.
Thank you to our sponsors, Anthem, anthembrewing.com. Oh, the slow crack of an anthem. Located at 908 Southwest 4th Street here in Oklahoma City. Taproom is open. Go in, get you a beer. I think they sell wine, too. They have like a winey kind of a thing, like a barley wine drink. It's really good. It's summertime. You wouldn't know it today because we got hit with a crazy storm.
Did you know every time you drink an Anthem, you get to choose one of three things?
What's that?
You can add 7 seconds to your life.
Mm-hmm.
You can add 7 inches to your dong.
Wow.
Or you can add 7 cup sizes if you're a lady. So the choice is yours, people. Anthem Brewing.
777. FatBison.com. Fat Bison, proprietor, creator, not woodsman.
I think he's a woodsman. Yeah, he's a master woodsman.
A master woodsman. Let him make you a hand-curated sign for your home, your RV. A lot of people have RVs. I heard this on the radio the other day. RV sales are at the highest they've ever been because you can't fly on a plane, so people are buying RVs. They're very expensive. It's a home on wheels.
Did you know every time you buy a sign from Fat Bison, you exchange your hard-earned U.S. dollar for a wooden sign shipped to your door, hand-designed, handcrafted? Listen, we've been talking about Fat Bison for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a friend of both Josh and I for many, many years. He makes a great product, and the least you could do is go to fatbison.com, take a look around. I've bought signs for parents, bosses, friends, and even an enemy, and they all loved it.
And
it's the great equalizer.
The enemy sign just said, "Fuck you."
Yep.
In Old English.
Yes, in a beautiful Old English. Actually, it was Joker Man font. It said,
yeah.
"Fuck you, you don't matter, love Robbie."
Ha 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 ha.
Fatbison.com.
Champion Vintage, champion_vintage_OKC on Instagram. Give them a follow.
Lastly, thank you so much. We couldn't have gotten to 200 episodes without the support of our friends and family. You're all like family to me.
Oh, yeah.
Here at
We're
Boys
all boys.
Podcast, we'll treat y'all like family. We really appreciate y'all spreading the word. I say it week after week. Tell a friend about the show. If you like it, share it. Gotta get those numbers up and up and up. We're doing good. We want to do better. So tell a friend, and for that, we thank you. Now on with the show. Okay, we're here. Episode 200. We've got Josh and I to kick off the show, and then maybe, just maybe a little later, we're going to have a special guest for a little segment. We're going to be trying something new, and as we go forward with the episode, we're going to be implementing some new things, and we want y'all to sit back, relax, take a ride with me like Nelly. Josh, how's it going?
Man, it's going great. So, I guess the quarantine's kind of lifted with a lot of people, but we're all still kind of staying at home and watching shit on TV, TV. We're all watching Netflix, right? It's all the same shit. But were you ever a fan of the old television series Unsolved Mysteries?
So as a child, I remember hearing the theme song to Unsolved Mysteries. And when was his name Robert Stack?
Robert Stack, the man, the myth, the legend.
When Mr. Stack, rest in peace, that's a mystery that was solved. When
He's
he
dead.
entered the frame, he would always enter like in a cloud of smoke. And I want to say he always wore like a trench coat.
Yeah, he always wore like a brown trench coat like he was Raphael in Ninja Turtles.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And he always come in like, the summer of 1984, Betty Summers was walking her dog. Little did she know, she wouldn't be returning home. And then it's some that shit.
That music was tight, and it kind of, and I haven't heard it in a long time, but I want to say it reminds me of kind of like Stranger Things-esque.
Oh, yeah.
Stabby synth going on. But the show scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Oh yeah, 100%. We would watch it. It would come on at night, and my parents would watch it, and I would watch it knowing it's gonna scare the shit out of me, because not only was that intro music like that, like there's like that synth, like that, what do you call that when it's just like a single chord? It's like
arpeggio, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I remember that.
Back. Yeah,
like a
pad,
like a swell. Yeah.
With the arpeggiated synth over it, so it's
That's
just
right.
like that's. You had a pad synth with arpeggiated synth, you're scaring the shit out of some kids. That's happening.
That's kid scaring music right there.
100%. But then you had the stories, which were always dark,
Mm-hmm.
real dark. Like a girl getting like raped and murdered, and they're gonna show like actual crime scene photos, and you're like,
Dude, what was scarier to a kid, to a young boy, than crime scene photos?
wasn't that like a thing? Like kind of like the Faces of Death thing, right?
Yeah.
Like kind
Back
of.
then, we didn't have the technology to like have everything at our fingertips. So, you'd gather the family around the old console TV,
Mhm.
maybe have some chips and queso or a bag of popcorn,
Yeah, yeah.
put on some Unsolved Mysteries, and almost shit your pants every Tuesday at 7.
Oh man, I loved it. And then I found I was scrolling through the Netflix and I saw Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, and I thought, oh, they put up all the old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries, and I was like, I'll come back to it. And then a
Mhm.
buddy of mine was like, hey, have you seen that new Unsolved Mysteries? I was like, new? He's like, yeah, they're all new episodes. So then I was like, I need to re-frighten myself. I want to step back, like we said earlier. I want that nostalgia of fear to because nothing scares once you pass a certain age. Like scary movies don't scare you anymore. They're just like torture porn,
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I knew if anyone can deliver the true fright of mortality, it is Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So,
and Robert Stack himself was kind of a scary dude.
oh, well, you get that. It's that voice. It's the way he delivered it. So I put on these episodes, and they're more like documentary style. It's not so much like reenactment. There's a lot of reenactments, but it's more documentary style. And there's like 6 or 7 episodes, and each episode is the creepiest of unsolved mysteries. They range from alien abduction to a lost person who was murdered. How did he get murdered? There's there's a lot of death based shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of darkness and death.
Have you watched the new ones yet?
No, and I was going to ask. Well, first of all, I didn't know that they existed until you brought it up. But who did they get to host? Please tell me it's Phil Moore from Nickelodeon's Nick Arcade.
Oh man, that would be great. No, it was. There's no host, so it's still. They still have that arpeggiated pad sense music for the intro, but there's no host, and it just goes directly in like a documentary style. So like the
Okay.
first one is about this guy who goes missing for a few days, and they find his body in a like a rec room of a hotel, and the way he got there.
Wait. The rec room? Like, was he at the club in the
He
gay
was at the
district in
club.
Oklahoma
He was
City?
at the club drinking vodka sodas. And
listening
then,
to The Prodigy?
okay, I only went to the rec room once. Was it like it was like where the goth kids hung out, right?
So they called the rec room. So, okay, let me go back. The rec room was I don't want to say it was a gay club. I think they called it a happy club where like everyone was welcome. You could really let your freak flag fly.
Right, and it was 18 and up, right?
I don't think so. Now, if we're wrong, feel free to email us, boys@boyspodcast.com. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, wherever. But I want to say that I went before I was 18. Now, maybe they had certain nights that were all ages.
Yeah. Because I went once, and I don't know if I may have went with you, but it was definitely high school times, and it was like, or maybe they said like, maybe they had an 18 and up night where it was come and dance with your friends. Basically all it was, dance to industrial music with your friends.
Yeah, it was industrial. It was like house, jungle, drum and bass. It was techno music. And I went, I probably only went like 5 times, maybe 7 times. And I do have a funny rec room story, if I may.
Indulge me.
So I was working at the mall in one of my many mall jobs with my friend Brian Harvey, who was this like older punk rock dude that I really well, he wasn't older. He was a few years older than me, but I really looked up to the guy. I mean, he had the coolest piercings.
Oh, yeah?
And he took me there, and we went, and I do not think I was 21 because I don't remember having anything to drink. No, I couldn't have been 21. This was back in the 90s, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, I was kind of a wallflower when I went. Like I would like kind of move around, kind of like pseudo dance as well as I could, but I was never out there like cutting a rug, And I'm like scoping out this girl. She was this really cute girl with bobbed hair. She had this green tight shirt on with this black skirt, and then like the knee-high Doc Marten style boots.
Oh, like the not 10 eyelet. There's like those.
Oh, they were like 30 eyelet.
Yeah, all the way up to the knee.
And the tall soles.
Oh yeah, like creepers.
Yeah. And I remember like kind of giving her the eye, just kind of like flirting a little bit, you know. A long distance flirt, if you will.
Right.
I didn't have the nads to go up to her or anything. So I remember smoking a cigarette, and that must mean I was 18. Maybe I was 17, and you know, you could get cigarettes under 18, believe it or not. Back in
you
the
could buy
90s.
cigarettes when you're 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she comes up to me and asks me for a cigarette, and I was like, "Oh man, it's my in, baby. It's my in." And I give her a cigarette, and I talk to her, and her name was Destiny or something like. We'll call her Destiny. Sounds like a good name.
Something real cool.
Yeah, something kind of like, I don't know, mysterious, you know.
Sexy.
And we talked for for what seemed like forever because I was like,
Yeah.
and she walks off and goes over to her group of friends, and I lean over to Brian, and I'm like, man, she was cute. And he was like, yeah, man, so was her Adam's apple. It was a dude dressed as a girl who looked like an older version of young Natalie Portman from The Professional.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of that look, even kind of dressed like that. But, you know, I wasn't like, ugh, gross, yuck. Like, I was woke in the 90s, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Pre-woke.
oh, okay, cool, whatever. Baby, you only shag now, a shag later.
Get them digits?
Yeah.
To the
so
Nokia
anyway, that's my story.
5120.
So
Okay,
go ahead,
basically,
please.
back to the Unsolved Mysteries. It's great. I'm just going to say that. Give them a watch. I don't want to ruin anything. There's a lot of, like, Tiger King-esque moments where you're just like, what the fuck? And I hope...
Are they going for more of... Because I do remember the original. Like, it was shocking, and it was, like, scary. But it wasn't, like, tons of twists and turns. It was, like, a pretty straightforward story most of the time.
Oh, this one's... It's a straightforward story, but it takes you... Each story takes you on this, like, journey through the process. And it kind of steers you in certain ways to, like... It's definitely, like, we want you to try to solve the mystery, because it's unsolved. But, yeah, man, like, there's a hairdresser who goes missing, and then she's found dead in the woods later, and you're like, is it the husband? Who else the fuck could it be? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're great stories. In fact, I want to go rewatch them so I can do a little detective work.
Yeah.
You know? I always wanted to be a detective.
I will give it a watch.
You should.
It's funny you say that because I remember having a phase, and I think it was around the time that I saw Dick Tracy in theaters.
Yeah.
Starring Warren Beatty. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else was in Dick Tracy? Do you remember?
Charlie Korsmo was the kid who was also in What About Bob?
Okay. Who was the leading lady?
I
you remember
her name, but I thought she was cute.
Was it any of the villains? I know there was like
Al Pacino.
Squarehead. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like they all had these like
Flat
weird
Top.
names. Flat Top,
Squarehead.
Prune Face was one of them. Mumbles was Dustin Hoffman. Remember that? Mumbles. There's a lot of some dude, I forget his fucking name. He's a character actor. He's been in like every 90s movie playing a bad guy, basically the same bad guy.
Okay.
And he plays Flat Top in Dick Tracy. What the hell is his name? What a great movie though.
Yeah, it was so weird and stylized, and it just made me love the color yellow so much.
Yeah.
Yellow and red for some
reason.
Dude,
I wanted a yellow trench coat and yellow fedora so bad as a kid. So bad.
Imagine how much of a fucking nerd you would have looked like if you came back from summer break. You're reading the old comics. You went and saw the movie. You got the wristwatch with the TV in it or whatever,
Had
the transmitter.
Yeah.
And then you come back to school in a yellow fedora and yellow trench coat, looking like a mustard-covered Robert Stack. It would have been crazy. Let me run down the I'm not going to run down the cast because most of these people I've never heard of. But so at the top we got Dick Tracy, of course.
Of course, titular.
Titular role. I love that word. Okay.
Titular Dick.
Yeah. Then you've got Charlie Korsmo, as you said, as Kid. Then you have McGillicuddy, Stooge, Shoulders, The Rodent, The Brow, Little Face, Flat Top, Itchy, Tess Trueheart, Soprano, and Baritone. And the list goes on and on. But boy,
Madonna.
Was it Madonna?
Yeah, well, Madonna, she was the lounge singer, and then she also ended up being not No Face. What was it? Blank. The Blank. The person that had no face, just nose holes.
Yeah. Oh, scary.
Dude, she was so hot in that movie, though.
Was Dick Tracy okay, I was a young wiener, okay? Was Dick Tracy a little scary to you when you saw it as a kid?
Oh, yeah. The mob characters were frightening because they shot it to where it was comic, like it looked like the comic, like how they did Sin City years later.
Right.
So the colors are very bright, a lot of shadowing because it's supposed to look like it's pulled from the pages of a comic. So
kind of noir, you know?
Yeah. They made all the villains look exactly like they did in the comics, which probably shouldn't have done because, like, Littleface was literally a dude with his head had to be bigger because you can't. They used a normal dude's face and then built this thing. It was super frightening. All those dudes were. I had nightmares about them.
Even Flat Top, like his head was flat.
Yeah, it was like it was like a fucking it was a table. It was like a coffee table on the dude's fucking head.
And they were gonna call him Old Coffee Table Head, but they had to shorten it to Flat Top.
Well, you can't fit that on the IMDb, you know.
True.
You have to pay him per letter. So, but nightmares of those guys, but dreaming of being Dick Tracy. I think I have a memory, and I wonder if it's true, if it's just something that I've always made up in my head, but I'm pretty sure when I was a child, I tried to go to school wearing one of those Party Galaxy fedoras, you know, those like plastic ones that have like the felt around it or whatever, you know?
Oh my, they're like total like disposable fedoras.
Yeah, you put them at like a murder mystery party and you throw them in the trash after that. And I'm pretty sure I tried to wear one to school, and my mom was like, "Don't do that,
dude." Out of all
don't wear that to school.
Out of all the cringe things we've ever said on the show, you know, my Marilyn Manson show I put on, and the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. That might be up there towards the top.
Man, I did a lot of cringe things as a kid. I was waiting to Saved by the Bell, and I thought Zach Morris's cell phone was really cool. That brick one, you know?
Yeah.
So I had a toy version of it. It looked real. And I carried it in my backpack to like 2nd or 3rd grade. And it's something in my bag leaned against it. Because, you know, if you push the buttons, it makes noises.
Yeah.
And it just started like making a ringing noise. And so I went to my bag, like in the middle of class. It's dead quiet. And all of a sudden you hear that like shitty like...
Yeah, okay.
So I go to my bag and like I can't say that it's fake. So I'm pretending that I have this cell phone. I'm like, sorry, I'll turn it off.
Now, did you take the call, or did you just like...
No. I kept it in my bag, and then you break it in half to like, you don't break it, but you open it in half to pull the batteries out.
Right.
So I left it in my bag so I couldn't see, and I opened it to let the batteries fall out, and I put it back. Like, I turned it off, sorry.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm such a cool kid with this cell phone. Why does a 3rd grader need a cell phone?
They don't. They never did, and they never will. And that's almost as douchey as when I made the fake pager and wore it to the skating rink and checked the pager over and over because I thought I was cool. So bad.
No wonder we're 38 with the podcast. We carried fake shit to school like we were cool
Seriously.
kids.
And now we do a fake radio show.
I'm surprised this podcast isn't like that scene in Wet Hot American Summer where the cables are just like hanging, going to nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like it is. Let's be honest, you know. So yeah, back to the Unsolved Mysteries thing.
Yeah.
So there's no host, but there's a narrator, right?
No. Well,
really,
it's all text on a screen. So like it'll open up and like the text will pop up showing you what the story is. Like
okay,
the things that Robert Stack would have said, it just appears on the screen as text because you can't replace Robert Stack, man.
Nah, dude, he's the goat. You know,
the goat.
My girlfriend Kate has been wanting me to watch Umbrella Academy. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, I watched the first season.
Who's the dude that
Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance? He wrote the comics.
That's
and
right.
Produces the show. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And Diana knew about it, so we watched the show, and I was very impressed.
You liked
the
it?
character development. Yeah, the character development's great. It's shot really well. Apparently,
Okay.
the second season's about to come out.
Worth a watch.
Definitely worth a watch.
Okay. And
Get her
also, my brother-in-law, Mr. Jake Barrow, of course, he let me borrow the Blu-ray. Well, okay. So long story short, we had a little birthday party for the little one last weekend. Just a very small, socially distant, very safe get-together. And we got on the subject of movies that I haven't seen, which, I could sit here and talk for hours. It could be a marathon of movies I haven't seen. Also, maybe movies I was too much of a pussy to watch when I was a kid.
But movies
And-
you told people you'd seen, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
That you'd said you've seen?
I carried around an empty DVD case to school and was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen all these, of course." Yeah, fall out of my backpack. No, but I'm gonna admit something here.
Uh-huh.
I have never seen Jaws.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
I hadn't seen it till a couple of weeks ago, and I saw it for the first time.
Well, he let me borrow the Blu-ray, the deluxe edition Blu-ray, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna give it a watch. During this, even though you and I are back to work and life is, for now, somewhat, sort
Normal.
of back to normal or the
Yeah.
new normal. I'm gonna give Jaws a watch. I've heard great things.
Well,
Breaking news: Jaws is a
breaking
good
news.
movie.
Yeah, but I mean, when you do, you're going to find out that it's a lot like it's a kind of metaphorical for what's going on now. Like
Okay.
pretend just replace a shark, or sorry, a disease, a pandemic with a shark. It's the same
Okay.
fucking shit.
All right.
great.
Well, I'll be ready for it. I feel like I'm mentally prepared.
Yeah.
Just got to get in the physical zone of sitting down to watch a movie. I find it hard to sit still for, especially older movies are always like over 2 hours long, and that's a lot of time to like sit still and not look at your phone or do something.
I did that the other night with a movie called The Firm. Remember the movie The Firm with Tom Cruise?
I do. Yeah.
Never seen it, and I was skipping through shit. You do that. You scroll through things until something comes up, and The Firm popped up, and I was like, I've never seen it. And Diana said, it's good. Watch it. So I watched it. And I tried not to pull, thing like you get 10 minutes into a movie, then you pull your phone out and start checking it.
Yep. Every time.
And I tried not to. It's a great movie. Good little film. But it is like 2 hours long. And by like, I didn't realize halfway through it. I thought it was almost over. I was like, I'll turn it off and finish the last 30 minutes in bed. And I go to pause it so it'll hold my place to go to the bedroom. And when I pause it, I see there's another hour and 20 fucking minutes left. It's like,
Dude, that's the worst. I'm kind of weird about time. And if that happens to me, I get this weird feeling of panic, like hour and 20 minutes. God, I'm wasting my life watching The Firm.
yeah, like what if that hour and 20 minutes? I'm never going to get back.
Yeah.
But it was a great film. I think it's the same thing with Jaws. It's a long movie, but it's worth the watch.
Well,
Now,
see,
if you had
I-
to watch like a 3-hour movie that sucked, like for me,
Right.
I know you're an Avatar fan. You love it.
I do.
But dude, when I went to the theater and saw Avatar, I walked out going, it's 3 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. But it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I
it
walked
looked
out with
beautiful.
a boner.
I bet you did.
Same with Jaws. I'm really into fish fucking, but I'll give it a watch. I will let you know what I think. I'm going to do my best to not be distracted by a laptop or a phone or a dog or
Well,
any of that
I've been
stuff.
thinking about that. So when things do reopen, and hopefully eventually we'll get back to going to movie theaters and watching movies in a theater, will people have gotten so used to having their phones with them watching shit? Because it's been 4 months now.
Right.
You're free to watch movies however you want at home. So when they reopen theaters, people start going back to the movies. Are we going to see more people with their fucking phones out?
Yeah.
Just because it's ingrained in them to do so, It's just reaction.
Or will we be so thankful to go to the movie or the concert that we're gonna finally decide to live in the moment and lose track of time for 2 hours or so?
Yeah.
Hopefully
I think
that.
I know they have reopened theaters, but whenever it gets to the point where I feel comfortable going to a movie theater, I will leave my phone in the car. Like I'll put it in the glove box or something. Because think about it this way. You turn it off when you get in the theater, right? So it's off.
Oh, I don't. I mean, it's funny.
You don't turn it off?
No, I put it. I would say I put it on silent, but my phone is always on silent. In fact, if I hear a phone ring anywhere,
Oh, it's upsetting.
I'm like, what are you doing? Put it on vibrate.
Okay, so not only just like a phone ringing, but when it's like a customized ringtone, where like you're at like a 7-Eleven or something, and so, and all of a sudden you hear like like what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, dude. I'll be like in line at Schlotsky's and you hear fucking Crazy Frog and you're like, what year am I in?
What is this?
What
Ringtones.
you paid for that?
Ringtones are dumb. They're old. They're boomer. Ringtones are boomer.
Dude, I rarely these days hear a custom ringtone. I mean, I've been through the ringtones on the iPhone, so I kind of recognize most of those. And I remember the
staples,
classic,
the classics. Yeah.
the classic ringtones. And I remember like the Nokia, the
that there's a Comedy Central show, and I can't remember the name of it, but that was one of the bits. Was it would be that ringtone, and this dude would whip out like a giant, oversized cell phone. Do you remember that?
I
And
don't.
you'd be like, "Hello!" It's a British show, and you'd hear all you'd hear is like he's at a park sitting on a bench, and you hear that, and then he'd just whip out this like gigantic phone because that was the joke. Phones were so tiny back then.
Right. No, I don't remember that.
Do you remember ringtone commercials? Where
That
you
I
can, like,
do remember.
call and download ringtones to your phone, but you had to pay for them.
Yeah, it'd be like you had your Crazy Frog, you had things like that. You had the Dancing Baby, perhaps. Then you also had like What by Lil Jon. That was always a big one.
Yeah, ringtone rap. A lot of ringtone rap. And that was big. I mean, I would say that's kind of what rap is now, except because they just say like one line over and over,
Yeah.
Like Lil Jon was perfect ringtone rap.
He was the perfect ringtone rapper.
And now
Let's be
now that era is gone. You don't get residuals on a ringtone.
No, and I haven't seen, I don't think anybody's seen a ringtone commercial in 10 years probably.
But you used to see them all the fucking time. And when I see these commercials, like, I thought we were done with commercials, like having these paid services like Hulu and Netflix and all that shit. But Hulu still plays commercials. And
they
it weirds
play
me
the
out.
same commercials over and over. Like if you're watching a series, especially, let's say you're watching, I don't know, Married with Children on Hulu. Let's say there's 3 commercial breaks in one episode. The same commercial plays 2 of those 3 times, if not all 3 times. Like I get so tired of hearing about like a certain new drug that, cures your diarrhea, but the side
Gives you
effect
AIDS.
list.
Yeah.
The side effect list is way worse. Like I don't know.
Or it's like a laundry detergent, like, I don't care. I wish there was an option on your controller just to go, not this ad. But they always do
you
that
could
thing like,
Thumbs
before
up
it says,
or thumbs down it.
well, I love when they let you choose your own adventure with the commercial, and it'll pop up like 2 different. Do you want this one or this one? And I went, how about none? I'm paying you $8 a month. You know what I mean?
How about, would you rather have diarrhea commercials or erectile dysfunction commercials?
Cool. What's the shortest one?
Yeah.
Like, I'll take the 20-second one over like the minute one.
Yeah, I'll go
Please.
with the diarrhea.
Give me the diarrhea.
Yeah, I've been watching, so to get me through these trying times, I've been watching videos on Reddit, on the subreddit r/public freakout.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them right now. I mean, the world's always been crazy. Like I said earlier, it's always sucked for certain people, and those certain people sometimes are different throughout time. I try to be optimistic. I try to think that there's good in the world even through these times. But if you go over to Public Freakout on Reddit, it really squashes that into the dirt.
Yeah, it makes you... So what's funny is, I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube of the exact same thing, not knowing you were doing the Reddit thing. And so I sent you a Public Freakout video, because, you
Like
you watch one, and then it'll
Like a
just pop up another one.
compilation. Yeah.
Yeah. And like a greatest hits of Public Freakouts. And they're all called like Karen Public Freakouts or some shit, like Karen's in the wild or something. And
Yeah.
I sent you one, and you were like, dude, I've been following this thing on Reddit. So then you would send me some from Reddit. And they're fun. They're fun to watch because you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And 9 times out of 10, the person filming is the bad guy in the situation, but they don't
yeah,
know
a
it.
lot. Yeah.
So, but I think you said it too, was is this doing anything for my brain, my soul?
Yeah.
Or am I harming myself? You know, am I harming me as a person by watching this shit?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it gets to be soul sucking after a while, and like, I love to see somebody get punched if they're being an asshole, you know.
Sure.
Or you see the person that's like angry in a Burger King and like throws something, you know, and then
Yeah.
gets kicked out. Like a lot of it is social, and I don't mean social justice in like the woke, you know,
Yeah.
blue-haired, non-binary sense.
Yeah.
I mean like, yes, like they got what's coming to them, you know.
Yeah, you got kicked out of a place because you're an asshole. Someone
Yeah.
called you out for being an asshole.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
one this morning. It was a lady working at McDonald's. She was a very tall, big woman. And I don't mean like overweight or hungry or anything. I mean like she was just a big chick,
Yeah,
right?
Amazonian.
And this young girl that was in like this little tube top and like little booty shorts, the customer threw a milkshake at the big woman who was working the counter. And dude, the woman behind the counter jumped over the counter and just proceeded to beat the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
And at first, I was like, this is awesome. And then about 20 seconds into the beatdown, I felt bad for just laughing at this.
Yeah.
Because the girl that was getting her ass kicked, her titties popped out. And, you know, the first thing that came to mind was that Dave Chappelle from Half Baked. Now, that's a titty.
Now that's a titty, yeah.
Yeah, I love that scene in that movie. And
Yeah.
you know, we've said it before on the show. What's better than a free titty, you know?
Nothing.
Nothing. And to be honest, it was a nice titty. I wish I could have seen both of them.
Yeah,
But
you got the snake.
but how embarrassing that you're getting your ass kicked while one titty is hanging
It
out.
just flopped out. I saw one where a titty was exposed. It was this racist bitch. I'm going to say that word because this chick was racist as fuck. She's probably in her 50s, and she's being racist toward this fellow customer, telling her to, quote, go back where she came from. And this chick proceeds to call her out, tell her she's being rude. She didn't curse at her or anything. And then this white lady goes over to the girl and then slaps her so hard in the face, her titty pops out of her
Yes.
top. Like,
Yes.
how hard do you have to hit someone where a titty pops out?
Dude, seriously. Or like imagine, you know, we don't have boobs, we're guys.
Yeah.
Imagine if you got hit so hard that your dick fell out. That would be fucking awesome. Like I would be on either end of that and feel good about myself. Like even if I was the one taking the punch and my dick fell out, like how
Yeah.
awesome.
Like a World Star video where it's like, I can see if you're wearing like gym shorts or something.
Yeah.
And like you're in a scuffle and then you fall, your shorts fall down, your dick falls out. I get that.
Or maybe you're notorious for when you get excited and your adrenaline's pumping and you know you're about to be in a fight, then maybe you get a hard on.
Maybe.
And then your dick, like you have to go from 6 to midnight, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
flip your
yeah.
dick up in your waistband, and then your dick flies out of your shorts and you have a boner. Like how embarrassing would that be?
Oh, almost as embarrassing as bringing a fake phone to school.
Almost.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of those too, and yeah, it makes me feel bad. It hurts my soul, but I think I need to watch them because it shows me just how fucked up the world is. You know,
Yeah.
like there are people out here, and it's not just one or two people. There are a lot of people out there who think it's totally okay just to treat people like shit. Mostly
Yeah.
people are treating fast food workers like shit, which
Oh,
is
dude, the
unacceptable to
worst.
me, man.
Yeah, it's the worst. Like, first of all, don't do it because they'll probably, well, not, I don't want to say that, but you might get some spit in your food.
You might get them spit in your food.
Or worse, you know?
But my thing is, they always talk shit about like, I ordered a milkshake and this is the wrong milkshake, and they start cussing them out and being like, I make more money than you. You're always going to work here. You're a piece
Yeah.
of shit. Blah blah
Yep.
blah. I'm like, dude, why you got to go there? They're 16. And where did you work when you were 16?
Yeah, and all of this over a milkshake. They'll fix it. I've
Yeah.
never,
Yeah.
I've gotten wrong orders before.
Sure.
I've never, quote unquote, Karened out over a milkshake.
No.
Or the wrong size French fries. Like, I'll go up there and be like, hey, I ordered a large and I got a kid's size or whatever,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But never would I ever be that shitty to somebody.
No, yeah, 'cause again, they're gonna fix it, dude. Calm down. And it's always like, the phone's always out after the, quote, initial thing happened. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, you were calling me this and this. Like, no, I wasn't. Well, why weren't you recording it then when they were already calling you the thing? It angers me. It upsets me that people are like that. And it upsets me that people are, racism in it is what really, there's a lot of the public freakouts that it's uber racist. And I'm not saying all Trump people are racist, but every Trump person in these videos are racist.
Yeah.
All the racists in these videos are Trump fans.
Yeah, they're easy to pick out as far as like the dumb people, you know, not to say every person that doesn't hate Trump is an idiot, but yeah, it's 9 times out of 10 we talk about the Venn diagram a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big overlap. I saw something the other day too, and of course it was by a bunch of Karens that they were saying that saying Karen is as bad as calling a black person the N-word.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no, it's not.
No.
No, it's
Crazy.
not. You're probably offended. And here's the thing. If you don't want to be called a Karen, don't be a Karen. You know what I mean? It's really that easy.
Yeah.
Just next time you find yourself, we've all been there. I've been in situations where I got heated and I may have done some really dumb things. I can think of one specific time where I did. And to this day, I feel very, very bad about it. But it's in those moments of anger where you step back, you take a deep breath, and you go, is this worth me getting pissed off about?
Right.
Is this worth making a scene over? And you just kind of, you goose fa bra and you move on, you know?
Yeah. I've never thrown a milkshake. Let's put it that way.
No. But I've yelled at people and I feel bad about it. And I don't want to be that person, you know?
Well, man, listen, times are a-changing, you know? The world is wild. It's real weird, wild stuff. But the thing that really got me lately, and maybe I might Karen out over this next time I go, but they changed the name of Whitewater.
Yeah, I Karened out to myself when I heard that. Like, in my head, I was like, not my Hurricane Harbor, or whatever.
Right.
Is it called Hurricane Harbor now?
I think that's what it's called now.
Okay, so this was an institution. It was an aquatic entertainment institution that we all went to.
Yeah, it's like 2
Whitewater
miles
Bay.
from my house.
A beautiful
Our
place.
houses.
Our house in the middle of the street. And in the middle of the street was a aquatic entertainment park, which is a weird thing, but it was fun. And now the name has changed. It is owned solely by the Six Flags Corporation. And, you know, it's just like these corporate fat cats, you know?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Johnny Six Flags to come in here and fuck up a good thing. You know? Now, are they going to change the names of all the rides? You know?
Possibly. What if the rides were problematic, you know? Or are they just changing
Well.
it because now they own it and they can do what they want? This is my water park, and I can call these rides the Acapulco Cliff Dive. Nope. Now it's called the Texas Slide or something. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like something stupid. Or why would
Yeah.
it be Texas if it's in Oklahoma? But you know what I mean.
Well, there is the black hole. I'm sure they'll change that because that's problematic.
Yep. What were some other ones? I knew them as like the Rock Ride. The Lazy River.
The one in the trees. The lazy river's where you go to take a piss. But as a kid, I never noticed this, but as an adult, last time I went there, I was of age, and I noticed the lazy river is actually where the drunk people go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're drunk, I'm just going to lay on a raft and just go around this bitch like 6 laps.
Yeah, or you just pick up your feet and let the water do the walking. You know, you just go. Do you remember that myth that I guess we'd call it, file it under school bus folklore, that if you pee in the water at Whitewater, what happens?
The water turns blue. Or
Like
it
dark
turns
blue.
the color around you, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to pee in the pool. But everyone pees in the pool. Peeing in a slide, it all happens. I got
Dude.
stuck in a ride once there.
Did you piss?
I had to. I was stuck in the ride.
Yeah.
I got stuck in the not the black hole. It's one of those where the tube is like small.
Okay.
You know, like it's a smaller tube. It was one of those green ones, like almost the clear green slides.
It wasn't the Bermuda Triangle, was it?
No. It's over there
Okay.
by the rocks where like you can like jump off of them and stuff. But there's tubes, and I got stuck in one because I was a fat kid, and they had to send another kid down to like jolt me loose.
Yeah, the lifeguard at the top was like, "Oh, great, here comes Augustus Gloop.
Here comes
get
the
the
fatty.
Vaseline ready."
Rub them down. And then I was left at Whitewater Bay. I'm not sure if I talked about this on the show before, but I was a child and went with my aunt and my cousins and my mother, and they left me at Whitewater. We had a
That's
whole day.
wild. Now, did they leave you because you were being an asshole kid, and they were like, "Fuck you, we're leaving you here to teach you a lesson, but we're gonna come back and get you in like 20
Nope.
minutes."
It was a Home Alone situation where they thought they had all the kids, and they totally did not, and they didn't realize it, and they had to turn back around.
Wow.
Come back in. I didn't realize I was lost. I just realized I'm by myself
Yeah.
doing all
I
this
lost
fun
the
shit.
group. Yeah.
Lost the group. Hey, and it was that Home Alone moment. Like I made my parents disappear. Like I'm just gonna fucking write everything twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stand by the Acapulco cliff dive and hope that a thong gets wedged up a girl's butt. You know?
Or a titty pops out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A free titty.
A free titty to
Whitewater
I
free titties were the best.
was probably
Let's
like
be-
10 or 11. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw them. I saw about 5 boobs at Whitewater growing up.
Pairs or
No, it's always one. It's never a good pair. It's always just
Yeah.
one. Like the bathing suit slides over
Yeah.
to the side.
well, it's like you come out of that any one of the rides, and as you come off the bottom of it, you hit the pool water hard. So something's gonna pop off.
Mm-hmm.
My shorts popped off once.
Hey,
luckily.
Listen,
They didn't float away.
I was gonna say I'm an equal opportunist. I saw Whitewater Dick too.
A
Or
lot
excuse
of
me,
dicks.
Hurricane Harbor Hog. I saw both when I was
Whitewater Wang.
A kid. Yes.
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle butt. Huh? Okay, we should have stopped.
I know.
Speaking of, man, we need to take a little break real quick, and we will be back to wrap up the episode right after this. Okay, we're back with our very special guest, Lucas Dunn from the Free Queso Podcast. How's it going, Lucas?
What's up, boys?
So you reached out to us. We did a question. We've been doing these polls each week, and Josh, what was this week's?
This week's was what store from the mall from childhood that no longer exists. Okay, what was your favorite store in the mall growing up that no longer exists? Because there's
Yes.
a lot. What brought that up was last episode we talked about Sharper Image, which is a no longer RIP, no longer with us store.
In
But that-
the brick and mortar sense.
Right. But that store had so much. I'm sure every child of the 90s has a Sharper Image memory.
Yeah.
And then that
We
got
all wanted like an electric tie rack.
Yes.
exactly. That's dad gifts for Christmas.
or like I said last week, the 6.5 foot tall Predator.
Yes. That was like $10,000.
Yeah,
or
I think it
something.
was not literally. I think it was like $3,000.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking about stores in the mall that we loved going to that are no longer here. And Lucas, you reached out and you said, I want to be a part of that. If you guys talk about it on the show, I got some stories to tell. I want to be a part of it. You were a mall rat. Robbie and I were mall rats.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah, I think Lucas, we met at the mall, man, and
We met at the mall. Yeah, you worked at Hot Topic. I remember you were like hustling Torrance Crump cassette tapes.
yes.
Oh, damn, that's old
And I
school.
bought a tape from you. Like, I think it was in front of the Glamour Shots or something.
Yeah, right around the corner from the old Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. I remember going, because I had a few jobs in that mall. My first job in Crossroads Mall was a little shoe store called the Athlete's Foot, which, first of all, what a terrible name for a shoe store.
Yeah. Like, I understand, like, Athlete's Foot, get it? Because we sell shoes for, like, basketball players. We sell cleats. But Athlete's Foot is fucking gross. Don't name your store
Naming
something
a
gross.
store after a fungus.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It'd be like if Fredericks of Hollywood was called like Herpes Incorporated or,
Right.
Herpes of Midwest City or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Baby Gap's called Diaper Rash.
Yes.
No,
The Yeast Infection Emporium.
Yes. Lou Dog's yeast infections and more. right in the entrance of Crossroads Mall. But
Ye old yeast infections.
so I was working at Athlete's Foot, which was right across the hall, looking right at Hot Topic when it was being built, opened, whatever. And I remember being into like punk rock and new metal and shit like that, working at a shoe store, having to kind of dress like a referee. And it was really embarrassing. There was a track
Like
inside
you had the zebra,
store.
like the black and white.
Sort of. Yeah, some days, like we had a few different work shirts and we had to coordinate them on the day. A lot of times it was a blue polo with some khakis and like I was wearing like some shell toes. But yeah, sometimes we had to wear like, I think it was during Final Four season, maybe we had to wear like, college basketball referee looking shirts. But there was also a track on the floor going around. And
Like a wood track, yeah.
like a red wood track. The carpet was blue, and that means anytime a kid came in, they would just run around that track, and we'd have to tell kids to stop. They're pulling shoes off the rack. It was horrible. And I would look across as not fast forward, we'll get to that, as Hot Topic was being built, the very first one in Oklahoma, and I would look over there longingly, like, please give me a job. And they finally did.
Well, the Hot Topic had those the wrought iron gate shit that looked so goth and like, what the fuck is this gonna be?
It had like the amber, like Jurassic Park style, like installations in the gate that had like spiders and shit in it too.
It was so dope.
But I remember, Lucas, seeing you at the mall constantly once I started working at Hot Topic.
Dude, I lived at malls like all through like junior high and high school. Huge mall rat. So like, I think it started, I was skateboarding, and my friend Charlie, who was Vietnamese and unfortunately named that as his American name.
Yeah.
'Cause
Tough.
I don't
That's
think his
tough
parents
times.
understood.
Yeah.
And his actual Vietnamese name was Gu, which I think translates, it's basically like the Vietnamese version of like dick.
Oh, wow.
So he just had it bad all around. He's a cop in Norman now. He's like the worst kid that I hung out with back in the day.
Now, are you still in contact with this guy?
No.
Okay, I was like, I wonder if he's a good cop or a bad cop considering his upbringing.
He would, even back in the day, like, I mean, he was like a criminal, and he would talk about how, like, when I grow up, I want to be a cop, but I want to be a crooked cop, like someone that like steals drugs from people and busts them and then like resells them.
Wow.
And
We should say allegedly. We should say allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
no, he said that. He said that. I don't know if he's actually done it as an adult.
Right.
But
Right.
that's what he would talk about when he was like 14 or 15 years old. And he hit me up on Facebook about a year ago, and he's just like, hey, do you want to reconnect? And I looked at his profile and saw that he was a Norman cop, and I'm just like, fuck no. Like, I just left him on red.
Dude, that happened to me once, actually with the person that I reference a lot on this show, who I always call a different name, but he was kind of like the weed-smoking Pantera fan in high school, and now he's like a Border Patrol agent.
Ugh.
And dude, like, we did the same thing. Like, one of us reached out to the other one, and I took a look at his Facebook, and I was like, no way. Like, the Homer Simpson backing into the bush. Like, nope, never gonna happen.
Yeah. And he was like the worst kid that I hung out with, like the one that would always just like egg you on to do things that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so his parents owned the dollar stores that were at Crossroads Mall and Shawnee Mall.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I know who you're talking about now. I remember his face. It just popped into my head. Totally remember him.
I'll call him out. He's a cop. Fuck it. Charlie Mai.
Calling out cops.
I'll call out cops. So we would like stay at his parents' house, like way out in the boonies in Choctaw, and then basically like the next morning we would like, so like on the weekends or whatever, Saturday morning, like we'd go with them and just like hang out at the mall all day, and then we'd like work a few hours at their shop, and then just like
For free,
hang out.
probably, right? Like, you're not getting paid.
Oh, we got paid.
Okay.
I mean, it was like under minimum wage,
Right.
but you know, we were like 14, 15, so it was like $5 an hour, and just like,
To basically watch the store.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they
Yeah,
got
you're
an
just
orange
like running
juice.
the cash register or whatever.
I
Yeah.
remember that dollar store. It was like junky as fuck in there, right? Is this the one I'm thinking
Yeah.
of? Like a lot of green neon maybe on the sign, or
Yeah, like a lot of like little like porcelain miniatures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just ticky-tacky bullshit.
Yeah.
But we had crazy stories, like especially like Shawnee Mall, because like there's all like the dirtbag skaters that would hang out there.
Yeah.
I got high there for the first time. Can I tell my story about getting high for the first time?
Sure.
Please.
So we were just hanging out in the food court. There's this guy named Chuck. He was way old. I mean, at least for us, like he was probably like mid-20s. He'd been to jail before. We were all teenagers.
So he was cool.
Yeah, he was like, well, I guess he thought he was cool.
Right.
I don't know. We kind of thought he was cool, but he like wore, white undershirts with the pack of smokes rolled up. Still kind of a loser, but because you could tell he was just like latching on to youth.
Sure.
Right.
He was in his head cool. To him, he
Yeah.
was like the shit.
So we're like hanging out in the food court, and he's like, do you kids want to get high? And Charlie says that he'd smoked once or twice before with his cousin or something. I'd never smoked weed before, but I didn't want to be a narc, and I was just like, sure, let's try this out. So we go out to his like beat up, just like fucking gold 70s Pontiac, just like dirtbag sedan.
Yes.
And we're hotboxing, and the security, like the mall security cars are like driving around, and we keep ducking. And after so he has this coffee can, like one of those like old like metal Folgers, like the big aluminum.
Yeah,
tin.
you put your like screws and nails in it so they get all
Yeah.
rusty. Yeah.
But it's like full of swag and has a bunch of like rolled up joints, like pre-rolls on top.
Hell yeah.
Ahead of his
So-
time.
Yeah. So he pulls one out, and he's just like, yeah, we pass it around. We're ducking security. And then when we finish with it, he asks us like, how you boys feeling? And I didn't feel anything. And he was like, once you hit the air, you will.
Yeah.
And so it was like some movie shit where
Yeah.
like I step out of the car, and all of a sudden I'm just like, everything's in slow motion, just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you pull like a Jeff Spicoli rolling out of a smoke-filled vehicle, and it's just
Yeah.
like womp, womp, womp,
Yeah.
womp.
What mall was this?
Totally. And so
I think you said Shawnee Mall.
Shawnee Mall? Okay.
Shawnee Mall, yeah. And so we were both like paranoid, and just like everybody's looking at us. We can't go back to work at the shop because, like our parents are going to know, or his parents are going to know. So we go sit inside the arcade for a while, and we're just like sitting at one of those like, what is it, like California Racing or whatever? Like
Oh, the California Run, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just like sitting there, and then it's just like so overstimulating. I'm just tripping my balls off, and we're freaking out. And so Charlie is like, let's just go see a movie and just sit down and chill out, and we'll feel better in a little bit.
Yeah.
And so since we knew everybody, all the dirtbags that worked at the mall, like they would just let us in to like whatever movie we wanted to see, like just give us a free pass.
Mhm.
And so it was like, I think a 2-screen, and one of the movies that was playing was a brand new movie that just came out. And so Charlie was like, let's go see this new movie. It was American History X.
Oh my God.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm just like peeking during like the opening curb stomp scene. And the whole time I'm just like, I am never coming down off of this.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. And it was very frightening. Great movie.
Yeah.
I've never watched it again.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough to
That's
scar you.
intense, man. Especially for you said you were what, 14, 15?
Yeah, I was like 14. Yeah, I think it was 14.
Yeah,
14 or
98. Came
15.
out in 98, yeah. Damn.
Dude, that's wild, man. And everything you described about this older guy is like what I'm sure he's exactly what I'm picturing in my head.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember
Yeah.
Do you remember Beavis and Butthead, and they thought that guy was cool, that older guy? I forget his name, but he was like a dirtbag dude. He's like, whoa, Todd
Yeah.
is cool, or whatever. This
Yeah,
guy.
it was Todd. Yeah, I think it was. No, Todd was the dork.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's probably-
Chuck was that guy though.
Yes.
Like he was like him in person. Like
Yes. Well, dude, I remember seeing you at Crossroads Mall, I mean constantly, whether it was like hanging out at the arcade or outside, maybe getting a smoke or something, or in front of Subway or the Crossroads Mall didn't really have a food court per se. They had autonomous units for mid-mall snacking. So I just remember seeing you so much.
That's right, Brody.
And honestly, dude, like I thought you were like the coolest dude. And what was funny though is like a lot of people thought I was cool because I worked at Hot Topic, which was cool at the time. But I was a fucking virgin nerd, man. Like I just lucked out because I worked across the hall and I lucked out.
I thought you were the cool guy because you worked at Hot Topic.
See?
I worked at Subway.
Yes.
Eat Fresh. You were a sandwich artist. Before that was okay. You worked at Subway when Subway was still good. Do you remember that? Remember when Subway was like still good? Like when they had the black and white pictures of like New York City subway systems on the wall, and it had that smell. There's a specific '90s Subway smell.
That bread smell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
like
the
the
same
lettuce.
anymore. Now listen,
No,
I'm
it's not
not
the same at all.
above grabbing a Subway sandwich if I'm like on a road trip and it's the only thing in a gas station.
Yeah.
But I don't pick to go to Subway these days.
Dude,
Like,
a cold
there's
cut combo.
many better sandwiches out there.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is,
I was blamed for closing down the Crossroads Subway.
How
yeah?
did that go down?
So I was working there with my friend Ryan, and we were just like bad, lazy employees. Like we'd just like get in like rubber band fights with the people that had like the little kiosks across from us.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would just not bake bread on purpose. So whenever like people came up to get a sandwich, we're like, we're out of bread, come back in half an hour.
Hell yeah.
I got a bag of chips thrown at me one time because of that.
a little public freakout,
Yeah.
as we talked about earlier in the show.
There's the funniest one was whenever my friend Ryan pulled basically that same stunt, and this angry guy comes in with his kid, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to feed my kid? And he's like, I don't know. Go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. I don't know. Walk 20 yards.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. There's it's all right here. There's Taco Mayo. There's a Chick-fil-A. There's a fucking McDonald's upstairs.
Yeah.
Figure
Sbarro.
something out.
Yeah.
There's an A&W root beer. Get those badass corn dog nuggets. R.I.P. corn dog nuggets.
The franchisees were like pretty awful, so it's really their fault. But like after it closed, like
Do you recall the
they
name?
basically told us that it was our fault.
What was the name of the franchisee? Because I had a friend in high school. Her parents were franchise owners of Subway.
I
Don't recall.
I honestly can't remember, but they owned like multiple ones around the metro,
So-
and they were all shitheads.
So Subway was your mall job. Have you worked many mall jobs?
It's the only mall job I've ever worked. I've had a lot of like service industry jobs,
Sure.
but that was my only mall
That
job.
was your foot in the door. You're a sandwich artist. You went to Subway University and you graduated at bartending at Bar Arbolada. See, I like Robbie. I've worked a lot of mall jobs. I worked at every mall in the metro area. Every
And
single mall.
let's list those. You got your Crossroads, of course, the king of malls.
King of Mall. So on Crossroads, I worked at Jesus, wasn't Hot Top.
Shepherd Park.
Shepherd Park? No, Shepherd Mall. No, I did not work at Shepherd Mall because I think by the time we were of age to go mall shop, like no one ever went to Shepherd Mall because it was
I
more.
had two jobs at Shepherd Mall.
Where did you work at Shepherd Mall?
I worked at the kiosk Things Remembered,
Yeah.
where they like engraved.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get like a Zippo with
Yeah.
like your name on
Dude,
it. Yeah.
get this. So when I was working there, I had this crush on this girl that worked at the Deb, which was right beside
yeah.
it. And to impress her, I stole a Zippo and I engraved my own name on it and tried to give it to her. And she turned it down.
Which like fine, free Zippo.
Dude, I still have the Zippo. I actually found it about a week ago when I was cleaning. I was like, holy shit, this thing's like 25 years old. This is
Dude, that's
so
awesome.
wild. But I also worked at the Athlete's Foot in Heritage Park Mall, filling not Shepherd Mall, but Heritage Park Mall. I'm sorry, I'm getting all confused here. But yeah, filling in. That's the mall I was talking about. All these malls just bleed together.
Well, you got me. I got a job at Things Remembered with you, which was at that time it was a kiosk.
Mhm.
And but okay, my first job was Gadzooks, which is right down the way from that the kiosk, the Things Remembered kiosk. And then I worked in Radio Shack.
I remember that.
And Heritage Park Mall. That job sucked. I did that. I worked at Hot Topic and Penn Square and Crossroads. You know, when you work at a job like that, you kind of jump from store to store.
Yeah, it's kind of like that mall culture of like, I would always remember like mall ratting, seeing like, always be like the same people, but
I'm at Sooner today, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Which always sucked, like, because you're broke, you're not making a lot of money, but they're like, hey, can you drive? I know it's already long for you to drive from Choctaw to Crossroads. Can you drive to Norman? Can you go work at the Norman store? Can you go work at Edmond? Like,
can you cover a 4-hour shift at Quail Springs? I know it's like an hour drive each way, but
for $5.25 an hour? Okay.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, I did Hot Topic. And then let's see. Gosh, I did so many. My favorite though, and I have to touch on this. And we're going to get to the responses, but this kind of goes hand in hand with quite a few responses that we got on Instagram, which is at Boys Podcast. Fast Forward.
Yeah.
I was a little bit older. I was probably like 21, 22 at the time, and I will say to this day that was hands down my favorite job. Not the best paying. Yeah. Not the most illustrious, but that was such a fun place to work as a young dirtbag.
Well, it was. So for us, I don't mean to cut you off, Lucas. For us, Fast Forward was like our first glimpse at what a skate shop was. Like there were a handful of skate shops around town, but you kind of had to know about them.
Yeah.
Like those record stores, like X Underground in Midwest City, you kind of had to know about it, and they weren't big. But Fast Forward was like, here it is, right in the mall, and it was a big store. It was like a corner lot, which is now I think 2 or 3 different stores now.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
A huge store.
Huge. And you worked there and Wes worked there, and I remember being so envious of you guys working there. And I think I remember asking you a lot, like, you guys hiring?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, no, we're like backlogged with people wanting to fucking work here.
What was awesome about it is, you know, I like to hang out in the skate department, so I was like building decks and gripping decks and all this stuff, and that was like, I was the best grip tape artist. You know, I know we talked about sandwich artists, but I was a grip tape artist. I was so good and so precise at it that people would come in and ask for me to do it, and I just took so much pride in that. But at the same time, they also sold men's and women's clothes, so like during the summer, all these hot girls would come in and try on bikinis, and you got paid to like, does this look okay? Like pretty often. So as a young guy, that was like heaven.
Yeah.
That was like, so I spent a lot of time at Penn Square also, especially in the summers because my dad worked at like the Penn Tower or whatever, like right next.
The 50 Penn Place?
Right by. So like, 50 Penn Place. So he would just like drop me and my friends off, you know, like when he went to work, and we would just be there all day until he got off, and then just like pick us up. And so that's actually where I met Atlee Hickerson. Yeah. Who, have you had Atlee on the show yet?
Yeah, he was in our first 10 guests, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I met Atlee there for the first time because I mean we would just like hang out and just probably annoy everybody that worked there because, you know, we were like 14, 15
Okay,
years
I was going to ask, was he mall ratting with you or was he working at a store?
He was working there.
Do you remember what store he worked at?
It was Fast Forward.
Oh, you know what? I never knew he worked at Fast Forward. Yeah. That was way before me. Well, not way before, but, you know, a couple of years before probably.
A lot of Robbie Ray
so
tie-ins
we would
with you
just like
now.
hang out and like talk with Atlee at Fast Forward and then go on his lunch breaks with him. He taught us, he had this special Atlee burger that you would get at the Wendy's there.
Of course he did.
What was that burger? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
I'm sure it's some fancy pants thing.
Yeah.
Love you,
It was
Atlee.
very specific. We'd have to ask him.
Yeah. So, so your only job was Subway at the mall, but you hung out. So let's do the hierarchy of local malls, like from best. Well, yeah, let's go worst to best.
No, let's go best to worst.
Best to worst?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll come out of the gate with the best mall.
For hanging out or shopping?
I mean, aren't they kind of hand in hand? I don't really ever shop at malls. I mostly just hang out, and then if I happen to buy something, I buy something.
For sake of the show and brevity, let's just say like overall hangs.
Mall
when you're a kid, like you buy stuff here and there, but you're not really going to shop. You're going to hang out. So
yeah.
I mean, the 3 that I'll put in order, at least just for like my nostalgia reasons, like Crossroads Mall is number 1.
Yes.
That's the one that I spent the most time at and have the most crazy memories. Penn Square #2, I think that one splits the difference. Like, I don't shop at malls, but if I would be buying things, that's where I'd go. And I don't know, it's a nice mall.
Yeah.
And then I'm going Shawnee #3 just because that's where I smoked weed for the first time.
Right.
I smoked my first cigarettes there. Had a lot of just like dirtbag weird experiences. And I mean, I haven't been there in probably 15, 20 years
same.
or something.
Can we agree that
There's a Walmart in that mall?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. There was a. It used to be a. Wait, it was a Walmart. Then it was a Ross Dress for Less, and now it's something else. I remember there.
I thought it was a
Walmart
grocery store for a small time. Or maybe that was just a Walmart,
Maybe.
and I'm getting it confused. But can we all agree that Shawnee Mall is the dirtbaggiest mall of all?
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
I worked
okay.
there. It's
Good,
a dirtbag mall.
Well, I'm gonna agree with you, Lucas. I would put Crossroads #1. I just loved working at Hot Topic there. It was the formulative years. You know, you were automatically cool if you worked there because there were no stores like it, and it also came with people at my high school thinking I was a Satanist for working at Hot. Like, I heard if you work at a Hot Topic, you have to have at least 5 piercings.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like a wall full of Marilyn Manson shirts at that time. So.
Well,
Dude,
that was like
when I worked there was also the entire back wall was like bondage shit, like latex and like vinyl clothes. It was way gothier back then. Now it just looks like a Jolly Rancher puke when you walk in there.
Okay, I was talking to Diane about this yesterday. Hot Topic was fucking cool. That's where you bought your band t-shirts, you can buy bondage pants like you said, CDs. They were all about like music. It was music. It was music.
That was their slogan, all about the music back then.
Right. And now it's a pop culture store. It is Spencer's Gifts with a dick
Yeah, it's
piercing.
like Rick and Morty shirts.
Yes.
And shit.
Yeah, it's Hogwarts this, Hufflepuff this. Like it's not Hot Topic anymore. And they have a small little section for band t-shirts, and it's the same shit you get at like Walmart or Target.
Right.
Like just reprint bullshit.
You got your Red Hot Chili Peppers, your Sublime, your Pink
Nirvana.
Floyd. Yeah, Nirvana, a lot of Nirvana. Then they'll have some like All Time Low or Suicide Silence, shit like that. But yeah, it's the music aspect has dwindled, and now it's it's gone. Whatever cool anime is out right now.
Well, what was cool?
So I'm kind of punching in late here, but did y'all talk about Eastern Treasures yet?
No, we haven't talked about any stores yet.
We
can
saved
do
all
that.
the mall talk for you.
Right.
So Eastern Treasures was the fucking store as a kid because it was like basically like a flea market.
Yeah.
Just like in, 400 square feet or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could buy batarangs and shurikens and like swords and like those like weird LED Jesus paintings.
Yeah.
that
like
light
like
up
ninja
and,
stars and stuff.
You get like
We
a
actually-
Buddha,
Remember they had, like-
Buddha statue.
They had like cockfighting shirts in the windows sometimes. Like
So much weird
it
shit.
was wild.
We had a person on Instagram, Cody Ingram, said Eastern Treasures is his favorite store from childhood. That's no longer there. That store was great. I never bought a single thing from there because I couldn't afford it. But they had a Highlander replica sword I wanted so fucking bad.
Dude,
But
I bought
couldn't ever get
I
it.
bought several ninja stars and some nunchucks that I had my first pair of nunchucks that were like foam covered
Yeah.
with the rope, and then I graduated to some wood ones with a chain. And boy,
chain.
did I think I was hot shit.
I remember they had those canes that were swords. You pull the handle out, and it's so dope.
You could get a bow staff. You could get like a fake bonsai tree. And I remember there was a lot of like mythology about the like people who ran that store. Like, did you hear so and so like pulled out a samurai sword on somebody trying to steal?
That folklore. I totally remember hearing that kind of shit.
It was incredible, man. But yeah, I would
I
say.
don't remember
Sorry, Luce. I would say Crossroads first, then Penn Square. I don't shop at the mall a lot, but sometimes I like to look at sneakers or I need a pair of Dickies shorts, so I'll go to Penn Square. And then I would say Heritage Park Mall, just because of the proximity for my third. I had a couple jobs there. I spent a lot of time at the Funco land there and the Gadzooks there.
Disc jockey that was there. Was it a disc jockey or I think it was a disc jockey.
I think it was, yeah.
And the Camelot music was at the Shawnee Mall.
Yeah, I think Heritage was like disc jockey, and it maybe turned into Camelot
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Penn Square had a Camelot.
It also had a Blockbuster Music,
Oh yeah.
and I believe
Oh shit!
no,
Weren't there
no, I'm
two
thinking Crossroads had Blockbuster Music. Penn Square had an FYE.
FYE.
Yeah, and Suncoast.
That's on the list.
At VHS and Chill OKC, our buddy Sean, he said Suncoast Motion Picture Company. I remember going in there. I was never a big movie kid, but I loved going in there just to look around. It seemed
yeah.
like glamorous. Like, ooh, this is I'm like shopping in Hollywood right now.
Dude, it was the sharper image of movies. It was like they had so many DVD, and that was when DVDs first came out, and you're like, oh, $35 for My Cousin Vinny. This is awesome. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. And they had scrolls. You used to have those,
Yeah.
Robbie, like
Yeah.
those, I don't want to say hentai, but
I had a Ghost in the Shell scroll, but then I also had a Sailor Moon scroll. And to be totally honest, I had never seen Sailor Moon. I just thought the chick was like, I thought she was hot. So I had a Sailor Moon scroll in my bedroom, like a total weeb.
Yeah.
I've owned a Sailor Moon scroll in my teenage life, so
I'm in good company then.
you don't find scrolls very often. You'll find them at like vintage stock every now and then.
Yeah. Or the lone standing game exchange that's still around.
Oh boy, R.I.P. to those.
Yeah.
Worked there for a shift.
Me too.
Half a shift. Yeah, I'll say the same. I think Crossroads is number one simply for nostalgia reasons. You could smoke in there. I liked those
that
upstairs.
McDonald's and the A&W, you could, and the Sbarro's, you could smoke in there back in the day.
Well,
Yep.
As a teenager,
Yeah.
like was like fucking 14, 15 years old smoking in a McDonald's.
Yeah. What I love about the McDonald's is you walk in and you have to, it kind of ramps up to the back where the counters were. And then there was like a little sunken in area, the smoking area.
You could also
then-
smoke in the Brahms, and you could also smoke in the Plantations tobacco shop that was right
Yep.
across from Fast Forward, just down a little bit. I mean, Fast Forward, Hot
weird.
Topic, I mean.
Crossroads definitely number one. It had a fucking pet store in there, and we had someone tweet that the pet store was the craziest one. I believe that was Dandy. Dandy O'Connor said, a pet store, that's so nuts. That you had a fucking pet store in the mall?
Yeah, it's wild,
What?
man.
That hobby shop, the hobby shop was tight.
Dude, the hobby shop was fantastic. You know, I'm really into RPGs and stuff, and I love Shadowrun so much. And I remember when you'd walk into the hobby shop, there was those stairs on the left side that went up to a little small loft second level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the RPG books were. And that was the first time I ever saw a Shadowrun like rule book. And I remember sitting up there on the floor, crisscross style, looking at this like second edition Shadowrun book for hours one day
Yeah.
until they kicked me out.
Yeah, I got kicked out of the hobby shop a lot for doing that, like reading books or like just pulling the like model airplanes or playing too much with. They had like RC tracks out and like trains. I would just like play with those. Like, oh, if you're not gonna buy anything, sir, can you leave, please? And then I walk over to Walden Books or the Babbage's or whatever the other Babbage's. Was that a bookstore? Or was that a
Video game
It was like a
store.
video game store, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
worked
go to
there, too.
Walden Books and just read Hit Parader magazines and never buy them and just kind of flip through shit. That was pretty much all day. Yeah, you get dropped off, your mom would drop you off, and she'd go do whatever the fuck she does, and you're there for 8 hours to entertain yourself. If you have enough money for a movie, you go to a movie, which you didn't. You hit up the Aladdin's Castle, the Le Mans. You drop all your money on with nothing to show for it.
Right.
You know? So great. And then second, I would do Penn, third, Heritage Park, Shawnee, and far fourth. That mall fucking sucks. I hate that mall. It's the worst. But Heritage has the most nostalgia for me for one reason only, and that's that fucking El Chico.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't like that's the only location of El Chico I ever had good food. Like theirs was the best. I don't know what it was there. The tortilla makers, I don't know what it was. It was so fucking good. I miss it. R.I.P. El Chico.
We'd go there like once a week growing up as a kid, and I'd get some cheese enchiladas, and it was dope.
Oh yeah, dude. I spent because I worked at the Funco Land in that mall because I worked for a different Funco Land, but again we were like shifting around and covering shifts, and I would get
Now-
El Chico every time.
Was Funko at a toy store?
No, it was a video game store that
Okay.
became GameStop, I believe, or GameStop bought them out. Or no,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, because it was like Babbage's, GameStop, and Funco Land. I think they all merged into one store, which is now GameStop.
there was that certain smell at Heritage Park Mall too because of the fountain there.
Yeah.
There was like that, like kind of like chlorine pool smell.
Yeah, and a lot of foliage. They had a lot of foliage in there as well.
And
Got Sbarros.
it would be a disservice not to mention in Heritage Park Mall the they called them conversation pits, like the one in
Yes.
front of Chick-fil-A, where it was like a bunch of benches that were sunken down, where you'd have to step down in, and there were benches and ashtrays and foliage and all kinds of great places to talk about your purchases.
That's where I worked
Super
at.
like 70s, like have you ever heard of a fern bar before?
No.
Sounds sexual.
That was like a thing in the 70s, the fern bar, where I was like basically like a bar or something that had just like a lot of like plants and ferns and foliage and stuff. But yeah, Heritage Park had that vibe, that 70s vibe for sure.
Yeah, when I worked at Gadzooks, I would get my Sbarro slice and go over to that conversation pit and just eat my one slice of pepperoni and cheese with my 20-ounce Dr. Pepper, and that was my lunch. What I could scrape together to eat that fucking food.
Yeah.
Gadzooks popped up quite a bit on the list on the Instagram. People loved Gadzooks. Great.
Yeah,
store.
let's go through some of these. We got to wrap it up here pretty soon,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna start rattling a few off, and if you guys
Sure.
want to jump in, go for it. So like, let's see here. Jeffrey Dean at Jeffrey Dean 41 on Instagram said, "Fast forward all day," and I agree. I mean, there was so much to love about that store. It was cool, and do you remember they had the TV over by the skate area? And they would just
Yeah.
play skate videos on a loop. But I remember when I worked there, we had a rep from PlayStation come in and give us a PS1 and Tony Hawk 2.
Yeah.
So it became this fucking gathering place for all the Mallrats and skate rats to just play Tony Hawk for free all day.
That's awesome.
One more like quick like fast forward story.
Yeah.
We bought I think it was Welcome to Hell from Toy Machine. We bought like the VHS there. Like me and my friend went in on it.
Yeah.
And we took it to like a J.C. Penney or something like that, where they had like all like the model couches, like living room stuff. And we put it in one of the VCRs and just like hung out in the department store and watched Welcome to Hell. It was tight.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
We'd have skate rats come in and be like, "Hey, can you play, the new Hollywood video, or can you play, whatever the new chocolate video or whatever?" So it was like a little movie theater because they had the benches where you'd try on shoes, and we would just have people come in there and hang out, and then some of those kids would eventually go on to have jobs there. So it kind of felt like a little family. It was
Yeah.
it was crazy.
It did feel like it was like a community there, which was cool.
Absolutely. At Shanna Slow Jams, our friend Shanna, she says ups and downs at Crossroads Mall for sure. And I bought no less than 2 pair of Jinkos from there because they had a small men's section.
Yeah. Okay. I remember it was kind of like a tops and bottoms, like a Deb kind of a store,
Yeah.
right? But they had
Yep.
a small men's section.
It might have been a division of Deb. I want to say it was inside
Probably.
Deb because I think that was up by Fredericks of Hollywood, which I have to say, being a kid going to the mall with my dad, I remember we'd walk by Fredericks of Hollywood and I would like hide my eyes because there'd be like scantily clad ladies in lingerie, like, in the windows on signs. And
Yeah.
my little boner radar would go off and I'd like have to hide my eyes because there's nothing worse than getting a boner around your dad.
Well, sometimes it's
Says
fun.
you.
Right?
Right?
Depends
We got
on the
Joe
dad.
Payne. Joe Payne says Suncoast. Again, talked about that. That store was it was just cool. Like, it felt like a piece of Hollywood in our fucking podunk state. Rox Kirby says Camelot music. So, okay, what was the best music store? Was it Camelot, Disc Jockey, or like Blockbuster music? I think I'm going to go with Camelot. I think Camelot always had like a better selection. It just seemed more, for lack of a better word, hip,
Yeah. I would say that whatever the one was in Heritage Park Mall, because that's where I bought not only Portrait of American Family by Marilyn Manson, but Antichrist Superstar, which they would not sell me. So I had to go out to my dad, who was waiting in the pickup, have him come in and buy me the CD, which he did. And definitely to a discerning eye, like, what the hell am I buying my son?
Right?
I thought they all kind of sucked. They were just like super overpriced. I mean, it was like $20, like $18.99 or something for a CD back then. And like, I remember the first Fugazi album that I ever bought was at the Camelot Records at Penn Square Mall. and it was Red Medicine. I think it was like their like most recent one, which is also I think like their worst album. It's still fine. Fugazi doesn't have any bad albums, but I read like an article about them in Thrasher magazine. I'm like, I'm gonna check out Fugazi, and so I get this thing, and it's got like the big plastic like theft detection.
Oh yeah, those
thing
giant like
around
with like a handle on it, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so I check it out and buy it. Yeah, and it was like around like $20 or something with tax. And then they take the thing off, and I look at the back of the CD, and it says, "Don't pay more than $10 for this. Here's our mail order."
Oh, wow.
And it was like hidden by it, and it was so mad. And then the CD also like did not fulfill my expectations. And
Oh, that's the worst when you drop like $20 on something. And you're like,
Yeah.
nah,
Well, that
it's fine.
now we have everything at our fingertips. We can just listen to Spotify or watch something on YouTube. And now, $24.99 for a CD. That was a lot of money in 90s money.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
like you mowed like a
I
couple
was
of
a
lawns.
teenager too.
Yeah.
There was like I think it was Warehouse Music that was at Crossroads.
Yeah, I worked
And
at a
they had,
standalone
like-
Warehouse Music.
they had like there was like a special catalog that you could order from.
Mm-hmm.
And so there would be just like things that I heard about that they didn't have, and so I'd like flip through the catalog and special order CDs, and it would take a week to come in and cost fucking $20, and you had no idea to know, like, I mean, maybe this just sucks. I've never heard this before, but like I'm taking the plunge.
Dude, I remember that when I worked at Warehouse Music, we had that giant, look like a phone book, like literally yellow pages, and you ordered
Yeah,
stuff.
that one, yeah.
And I ordered two-timer see what happens from here because we couldn't get it in, and I lost my CD. And at that time, there wasn't like LimeWire or anything, so I ordered it, got it in with my employee discount. It was still like $15 or something. Or like Dave Klein was in like a band called Wretch Like Me. I ordered their shit. Like ordered like band stuff that in no way were you gonna find anywhere.
Right.
But you order it. I made like this little like indie punk rock section that no one ever bought anything from, so we had to send it back to the fucking distribution company. Terrible. I thought I was cool.
It
We
was
have
swing and a miss.
Allie at EVAHOKC says, to be honest, Crabtree and Evelyn. I want to read that one because what the fuck is Crabtree and Evelyn? It sounds like an old lady store. Is that what that was?
So my first like close girlfriend worked there. It's kind of a place that sells. It's like a homeware, knickknacks.
Okay.
Like
perfumes and colognes.
Okay.
And I can't think of like really like another what the closest analog is, because it's not the kind of store I would ever shop
Well,
at.
the
but-
name to me screams divorced mom. I don't know why.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Your wife at the Dianosaurus said Sanrio Surprises. Now that was the Sanrio store.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Was that in Quail Springs Mall?
I believe so.
I know there was one in Oklahoma because I remember going to it as a kid, but my grandma was a bit of a mall rat, so I didn't remember if it was Penn or Quail because sometimes we'd hit up both of those malls in the same day. But I do remember that store, and it was fucking awesome. Even as a young boy, it was cool going in there.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember us having a Sanrio store.
I'm like 99% sure it was in Oklahoma City, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that was at Quail for sure. And now we have like what's that? Think Geek pretty much does that kind of thing, except Sanrio was all for like Hello Kitty and shit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We have-
certainly was.
Petty Tom going for Gadzooks. I got my favorite top, a lava lamp, and hermit crabs, all from that one store. I forgot we sold hermit crabs out front of Gadzooks. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
when that
man,
was a thing.
I remember going to Gadzooks and really, really wanting a Big Johnson t-shirt. Like so bad, but I was too young. My dad thought it was funny, but he didn't think it would be funny for his 13-year-old son to wear one to school and have to turn it inside
Yeah,
out.
you have to turn it inside out. Shannon's
Even
up.
before Gadzooks, there was still like, you remember like just t-shirt stores? Like it would just be a fucking store with like
Yeah.
200 different like dumbass t-shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have your Big Johnson, you'd have your co-ed naked, you'd have like the no fear, no fear
Yeah,
and stuff like
Big
that.
Dog.
Was a big one. Yeah, Big Dog.
Big Dog. Yeah.
Big Dog still has outlet stores,
What?
I think.
That's fucking
That's
wild.
Yeah,
crazy.
I think at some like the outlet malls, there are still like Big Dog stores.
Was it if you want to what was it? If you want to run with the big dogs, get off the porch.
If
or
you
something
can't
like
run
that?
with the big dogs,
dogs.
stay on the porch.
Stay on the porch. My brother, keeping the family, the Jamie Montgomery says JW. I believe JW was like it sold what I would only describe as R&B clothes, like clothes for.
I believe it was short for Jeans West.
Jeans West.
So it was kind
okay.
of like the Buckle, kind of like that in my memory. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I'm sure they sold like a Lucky brand and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Zane at Zanes85 said, "Man, what was that awesome Earth store that had rocks and fossils? That one." And I think wasn't that was in Quail Springs Mall? Was it called Earthbound?
Earthbound, yeah, and they just brought it back. I think.
Yeah, it came back for a short time and then went away again.
I worked at a store like that in Shawnee Mall called It's a Small World, and it was a very small store that specialized in like those ceramic dragon figurines, and like lava lamps and big on the stress relief stuff. Remember that? Like a cylinder you turn around and the liquid ball spins through it to relieve stress and shit like that. And then we had a display of the thing you push the native spirits or something like that, and it would play like a babbling brook or like a birds chirping and shit,
or
like
that. What are those called? Didgeridoo music.
Yeah,
shit
a lot
like
of
that.
that kind of shit.
Well, cool. Well, hey, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Are there any more you want to read off, Josh?
Now, it's pretty much people just kind of saying the same thing. A lot of gadzooks, a lot of fast forward. Robert Keeley said the hobby store, the arcade, maybe any place cool where the idiots out back at Firestone worked on my 76 Honda CVC wagon.
Fuck yeah. That just goes with that dirtbag thing. Like there was this subculture of like people that worked there that had cool systems in their cars, and I was one of them, like I was very much a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, like mall ratting was, it was I don't want to say like a lifestyle, but it was what you did. And when that movie came out, when that Kevin Smith Mallrat movie came out, like it spoke to me. Like I bonded with it because I felt like I was that. I was never as cool as Brody, but I wanted so badly to be Brody. I wanted to have a Dixie cup and ask for a Coke, no ice,
Yeah, there was like one summer, it was like, especially like my big Crossroads mall ratting summer, like me and my friends would watch that movie like twice a week or something, like just constantly.
It was kind of a handbook for all of us, I think, to some degree, like I felt the exact same way. After I saw that for the first time, I was like, this is what I aspire to be for now.
Yeah. Yeah, a fucking mall rat with no agenda, just walking around. I mean, you could spend all day, and now I go to the mall and I get stressed out because I'm like, what am I here to do?
Dude, I get stressed out when I'm picking a parking spot. I'm just like, got to get in and get out. I got to get my shell toes and get out of here. Like, see you later.
Yeah.
I fucking hate going to the mall now. Like, I'll just like maybe like twice a year, I'll just get like a hair up my ass. It would be like a hot summer day, and it's just like, well, this is going to be really air conditioned. And I can just kind of like walk around and just look at things, no shopping agenda.
Yeah.
And I just kind of get disgusted by the consumerism.
Yeah.
And
the older you get, the more you see, and you kind of read into all that shit, and you're like, ugh.
And it's like none of this stuff. I'll be like just going into stores, and it's like I don't want any of this.
I don't need any of that. That's the big like a dad thing. Like I don't need any of this shit. And
I'll
now
buy like a pair of Vans or something at the Vans store every once in a while, and that's about it.
Yeah, I've always been a big like clearance rack guy, so I would go in like the Vans store or Zoomies, which was fast forward, and I might go look at their T-shirts and be like, I need like a black shirt, so I'm gonna go in there and find something, an Obey shirt that's like on clearance for half off or whatever.
Buy one, get one half off kind of shit.
Yeah, I'm the clearance rack kid, man. Straight to, and I've always that. It stems from.
I never pay retail.
No,
for fucking
it stems from
clothing.
Being a young mall rat, you go to Spencer's Gifts, you go to that clearance rack T-shirt rack, and you get your buy one get one. They're $9.99 or $7.99. You get your silver chair shirt. Oh, what's this? The Cure shirt's $2.99. I don't even like the Cure. Then I'm gonna get it.
Right.
Like I bought a Rembrandt's T-shirt because it was $1.99.
Yeah.
Don't even like the Rembrandt, but it was $2. I want to carry a bag around. I look like I'm doing something.
Yeah. Well, okay, I guess we're going to wrap it up now. But Lucas, thanks for joining us on our 200th episode, man. I really appreciate your time, and it was.
This is 200.
Yeah.
I'm
200.
on a landmark.
You are,
episode.
man. This is a special one, and
I'm a third-time guest too, right?
No, second. You were
No.
episode 21. You
he
were
was on.
our guest.
You've been on twice before this.
I was on the live episode.
That- yeah.
also.
The one that got lost.
The Lost episode.
Oh, the lost episode.
So you were
right.
2150 and now 200.
Yeah.
And y'all have also been on. It's the last episode of Free Queso, so look us up. We do a fantasy sandwich draft.
Yeah.
That was good
and
app.
That was a really fun listen.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for having us on, man. And again, thanks for your time tonight. This is awesome, and we appreciate you, man, and we appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for sticking with us for 200 episodes. It's been a ride for sure.
Yeah, it means a lot that you guys have kind of been around and stuck with us and shared all your mall
Yes.
stories.
Thank you
That's
so much
great.
for the feedback on these polls. They're fun to do. It's fun to like engage with people, and like we talked about earlier in the show, we're going to take some steps to try to maybe like get the ability for people to call in and talk, because we want to be 5 p.m. drive time shock jocks. Let's be honest.
Well, that's why we started this, right? I want to be Rick and Brad.
I want to get
Let's
my
do
air
it.
horn out. So, all right, Lucas, thank you so much. Josh, good talking to you, man, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Bye.